Okay, so a few months ago, I bore witness to probably the best high school football game I've ever seen in my entire life. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you the story of high school football, the bread and butter of American culture.
Specifically, we'll be talking about Kentucky football. No, not the university, just a playoff round between two of Jefferson County's biggest public high schools, DuPont Manual and Ballard High School.
Both situated in the great city of Louisville, these two teams duke it out on the gridiron for all the marbles.
But before we get into it, let's take a look at these two great programs, starting with DuPont Manual is by far the older one of the two schools, with its roots beginning at U of L. Henry Clay, a prominent Kentucky senator and governor, who at the time was just a really rich lawyer, wanted a school for this new land out west, so he had a charter declared in 1798 for a school called the Jefferson Seminary, who was named after then-President Thomas Jefferson. 15 years later, in 1813, it finally opened. Yeah, 15 years later. I don't even know what happened. It operated pretty sustainably for about 16 years and then closed due to elitism, quote unquote, before being opened in Louisville under a new name, the Louisville Medical Institute, in 1837. 3 years later, a different Louisville Collegiate Institute was created. Although, for the sake of simplicity, the Kentucky legislature combined it and added a law school in the mix to create the University of Louisville 6 years later. So things seem to be doing pretty nice until their high school classes got too full. So the city of Louisville created the Louisville Male and Female High Schools in 1856, designed to make young people get into U of L easier, especially since Male was designated as the University of Public Schools in Louisville in 1861. In 1882, the Central Colored School was founded, the first black high school in Kentucky. Then Male had an overpopulation problem, especially with young men wanting to be mechanics, carpenters, and the like. They had to resort to using Male's back lot to do that. Until 1891, when a certain Alfred Victor DuPont Jr. funded a school just for manual training. This is the son of the guy who founded the DuPont Chemical Company. The DuPont Manual Training High School is what it's called, and it was founded in 1892 right here.
Then in 1899, Male moved again.
Of course there's going to be a rivalry between the two schools. They're the only two schools in the area. Well, what about the Louisville Girls and Central Colored School? It's 1893, guys. Nobody cared about black people or women then.
But yeah, it's the oldest public school rivalry west of the Appalachian Mountains. One might call it an old rivalry. Yeah, Male won by a safety. It was 14-12. Okay, now for real, Male moved in 1899 from here to here and being closer to the girls' school.
Then, due to budgeting issues, the public school system decided to add a new massive building for Male and Manual 16 years later.
For like 4 years, and they went back because manual students didn't like having to walk almost half a mile to get to their training classes. So the rivalry's back on. Male still kept the building though. In 1923, a few things happened. The girls' school moved from here to here, the John McDougall Atherton School for Girls was founded, Fern Creek was founded, and Manual got a renovation to make it bigger.
The next year, the DuPont Manual Alumni Association, who the oldest would be like 46, funded a massive stadium in Schnitzelburg, a small low-middle-class neighborhood of Louisville.
And when I say massive, I mean 14,000 people can be here, and the University of Louisville used it as their stadium for a few years. Massive.
And then the next year, Manual won their first natty. And then the next year, the girls' school moved down the street to Reuben Post Halleck Hall, a massive Gothic-style building located in Old Louisville. Nothing really happened to Manual at around this time, well, except them winning another natty and 3 other state titles. Until 1950, where they joined the girls' school at Reuben Post Hall. Manual also did the drop the training, just Manual, it's cleaner thing. Manual also became racially integrated in this decade. And they won yet another state championship in 1959. Oh, also, fun little factoid, Mitch McConnell also went to DuPont Manual at around this time. Well, anyways, the 60s were no different, having another state championship under the belt in 1966. And then in 1971, Manual was renovated yet again to have new wings and a new gymnasium. In 1974, Samuel V. No Middle School was added right next to it, acting as a feeder school right into Manual. With some minor race riots in 76, the Youth Performing Arts Building was completed in 1978, which was still a part of Manual, but they specifically taught the arts there, with regular classes still at Manual. However, at that time, Manual was still on the low end of the list of where you'll want to go to high school in Jefferson County. Until 1984, when Manual and subsequently YPAS became magnet schools, making any kid from around the county join and apply to get in, massively bolstering DuPont Manual's rating. Also in this year, 1984, they beat both Trinity and Male, two of the best football programs in the state. Nobody will be able to do this for a long while. Remember that. Anyway, the 90s were Manual's up and up in terms of academics, performing arts, and sports, and getting great results back. Which brings me to the DuPont Manual of today, which is not only the best school in the county, but in Kentucky, being ranked 47th nationally at one point. Now they're 58th. Anyways, on to the next one. Ballard High School was founded in 1968 on the historic ranch of Ballard, a scout for the Lewis and Clark expedition, and is located here. Ballard started off small, and with each passing year, new buildings were added. Ballard wasn't known for much until the late 70s, when they were known for their basketball. In 1977, they won a state championship and ran it back again in 1988 and 99. And they soon become known as a basketball school. And Kentucky's a basketball state. That's impressive. The early 80s is when Ballard started receiving a lot of minority students via busing, like in 1988. With the founding of the Pat Crawford Stadium, the Ballard football program grew immensely in the next decade, becoming a major contender with the other schools in the 80s and into the 90s. In the 90s, Ballard grew immensely because of their arts program after building the new Sandy Allen Fine Arts Center in 1999, named after then Principal Sandy Allen.